What if I told you that every man you admire, every king, warrior, visionary, and leader, was once just a boy silently pleading for guidance? What if the version of yourself you've spent your whole life trying to become has been waiting for you to show up? Welcome to the channel, where we dive deep into the truth about men, masculinity, purpose, and what it really means to walk the path of a man. If you're tired of empty slogans and surface-level advice, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon, because today's journey might just change the way you see yourself forever. And that's not a catchy phrase, it's a summons, a challenge, maybe even a silent cry echoing from the little boy still alive somewhere inside you. Picture this. A 10-year-old boy sits alone on a curb. It's late. His house is quiet, too quiet. His mother is crying in the kitchen again. His father is gone. Either physically or emotionally, maybe both. His questions have no answers. His fear has no shield. His ambition, it's still just a flicker. He doesn't need a superhero. He needs a man who sees him, who shows him how to carry pain without bitterness, how to lead without cruelty, how to love without fear. That boy was you, or maybe it still is you. We all needed a man to follow, but not just any man. A man who was calm in chaos, who didn't break when life broke others. A man who didn't need to boast or flex to feel strong. A man with backbone, with direction, with discipline and warmth, because masculinity isn't just power, it's also poise. We all wanted him, and many of us never met him. But what if you could be him? This is not about nostalgia. This is about responsibility. Because whether you realize it or not, there is someone, maybe your younger self, maybe your son, maybe a stranger watching you quietly, who is waiting for you to step into that role. And the brutal truth is this: no one is coming to save you. The man you needed doesn't exist until you become him. Let's rewind. Imagine you're in ancient Sparta. Boys weren't just born into manhood, they were forged. Thrown into the wild with nothing but grit and instinct. Pain was part of the curriculum. Hardship wasn't avoided, it was embraced. Because they knew something we've forgotten, that masculinity, true masculinity, is earned. It's not about having a beard, a bank account, or a bench press record. It's about how you carry yourself when there's nothing left to carry you. How you treat others when no one's watching. How you keep your promises to yourself most of all. But here's where it gets deeper. Modern men are lost, not because they lack strength, but because they lack direction. We live in a world that tells you to chase pleasure, avoid pain, stay passive, and wait for validation. But real masculinity doesn't wait. It builds. It doesn't complain. It creates. And the tragedy is, millions of men grow up never learning how. They become adults who are technically grown but emotionally abandoned, overcompensating, angry, addicted, passive, or worse, numb. Have you ever looked in the mirror and seen a man you don't recognize? Not because of your face, but because of your fire. Because you know deep down, this isn't who you were meant to be. That's the boy inside you shaking the bars, demanding more. He remembers what it was like to dream, and he's wondering when you'll finally come back for him. Because masculinity is not just about conquering the world. It's about mastering yourself. Your emotions, your habits, your time, your integrity, and most of all, your story. Let me tell you a true one. In 1942, a young boy named Viktor Frankl was captured and thrown into a Nazi concentration camp. He watched as his pregnant wife, his parents, and his friends were all murdered. He was stripped of everything except one thing, his will. In that nightmare, he wrote the framework for a philosophy that would change the world. When a man knows his why, he said, he can bear almost any how. You think you've had a hard day? Frankl buried everyone he loved, and still chose to believe that suffering could have meaning. That even when everything is taken from a man, his attitude remains his last freedom. That's what being a man means. Not reacting, responding, choosing discipline over despair, meaning over comfort, purpose over pleasure. So ask yourself this: what did the boy inside you need to see? A man who could hold his anger long enough to break a generational curse. A man who wakes up early, trains his body, feeds his mind, and stands for something greater than himself. A man who knows how to grieve, how to lead, how to love. What did he need? And more importantly, why haven't you become him yet? It's not too late. You're not too far gone. And this isn't a guilt trip. It's a wake-up call. Because if you won't become the man you needed, who will? And if you don't start today, when? Let that question sit with you. Let it burn. Because in the next part of this journey, we're going even deeper into the practical, the painful, and the powerful truth of what it actually takes to become him. The man who wasn't there for you, but will be there for the next. You're still here. That means you're not afraid to go deeper. That means some part of you, no matter how quiet, is ready. Ready to confront the shadows. Ready to stop blaming. Ready to stop waiting for someone else to fix what only you can face. So let's talk about how to actually become the man you needed growing up. It starts in silence, in stillness, in a room alone, where no one is clapping and no one is watching. Because that's where character is forged, in the places where applause doesn't reach. The man you needed wasn't always the loudest in the room. He didn't need to be. His presence was felt because his life was built on principles, not performance. And those principles? They come from pain, from learning what happens when you don't live with them. Discipline, integrity, courage, emotional mastery. These aren't traits you inherit. They're scars, lessons. Muscle you build from falling, failing, and choosing to rise without fanfare. Maybe you didn't have a father who taught you how to stand tall. Maybe you didn't have a mentor to show you how to navigate heartbreak or betrayal or shame. Maybe you were lied to, told that masculinity is toxic or unnecessary or outdated. But deep down, you know the truth. A world without strong men doesn't get softer. It gets more broken. Look around. Boys with no rites of passage. Men with no rites of purpose. A society of addicts, hooked on dopamine, swiping for worth, numbing with noise. But not you. You stayed. You're listening. That means you're one of the few. The few willing to do the hard thing, the ancient thing, the masculine thing. Let's get real. Being the man you needed growing up means facing your reflection and asking, what have I been running from? What wounds am I carrying that I've never cleaned? What fears am I hiding behind laughter or anger or silence? Because you can't lead others until you learn to lead yourself. And that journey doesn't begin with success. It begins with truth. Here's another story, modern this time. Navy SEAL Jocko Willink once said, "Discipline equals freedom." Sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? But it's not. It's the raw formula for transformation. You think freedom is doing whatever you want? That's slavery to impulse. Real freedom is when your emotions no longer dictate your destiny, when your urges don't make your choices, when you can suffer with purpose, love with limits, and walk away from comfort because your mission demands it. The man you needed didn't skip leg day in life. He trained not for vanity but for resilience. He read not to look smart but to be wise. He served not for applause, but because he understood that masculinity is not a crown. It's a burden. One you carry to protect, provide, and propel others forward. Maybe you're already a father. Maybe you're not. But whether you're holding a child's hand or holding a standard, you're already leaving a legacy. Every day, every choice. So what are you passing down? What habits? What values? What mindset? The boy you once were needed a man who showed him how to walk through fire without losing his soul, who could sit with pain and still speak peace, who could look at chaos and say, "We build anyway." That boy is still watching, still waiting, and you owe it to him to finish what he started. So here's a challenge. Today, right now, write down 3 things you wish someone had told you when you were 12. 3 truths, 3 hard-earned lessons. Then become the living proof of those lessons. Embody them so fiercely, so consistently, that no one who meets you can forget them. Become the man who walks into a room and raises the temperature, not with arrogance, but with presence, with direction, with quiet authority. Because the world is desperate for men like that. Not influencers, not posers, not kings of nothing, but men who know who they are, and live like it. This journey won't be clean. It will get bloody. You will lose people. You will bury parts of yourself. You will walk alone. But you will also stand taller, sleep deeper, love harder. You'll become the kind of man you would have followed into battle, the kind of man your son or your future self will thank you for becoming. And if you ever doubt, if you ever falter, just ask one thing. What would the boy in me think of the man I am now? That question will guide you better than any guru or trend, because it's personal, it's sacred, it's your blueprint. So here we are, full circle. You came looking for answers, and maybe you found questions instead. Good. The right questions are heavier than any fake solution. Let them weigh on you, let them build pressure. Because pressure creates diamonds, or it breaks weak men. Be the man you needed growing up, the one who kept going, who rose early, who forgave, but never forgot, who built when others tore down, who stood, not because he was unafraid, but because he had no choice but to lead. And remember, it's not too late. You're not too broken, and the man you needed has always been within you, waiting for you to return. If this video stirred something in you, don't let it stop here. Leave a comment, share your story, inspire someone else, and most of all, start becoming him today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more hard-hitting truths, bold stories, and the path of authentic masculinity. Until next time, stand tall, speak less, live true.